permit for an event in Memorial Park from the DeSimone family. And then 97 is for us to approve a permit for the Maureen's Jazz Cellar to have their bluegrass music event here on the same street closure that we have. So those are the action items on our agenda. Does anyone have any comment on any of that? Seeing none, let's move through them. So the first, I need a motion and a second for the audited voucher summary.
So moved. Second.
Any questions of Jen? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. I will make a motion to table 2392. I need a second for that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Motion is tabled, so Dennis won't have a heart attack. Let's see. 2293 is for us to reschedule our June meeting. I'll make the motion. I need a second.
Second.
Any discussion on that? We discussed this the last meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried. The next is for the Ignite Church approving the permit. That you see you see the resolution and everything's been worked through. We need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second from Donna.
Second.
Any discussion? Any discussion?
No.
All in favor? That's okay. Motion carried. The motion to rescind, how do we do that?
Well, the resolution was not adopted, correct?
Right,
Right.
So there's nothing to do, just table it or
that's what I don't know what to do.
Skip
it. Skip it.
just ignore it. Or
Okay.
I don't think you need a motion as the chair.
2395 is ignored.
As
All right.
Dennis.
So 2396 is for us to approve the event for the DeSimone family in Memorial Park.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And our last one is for Maureen's Jazz Cellar. That's for August 13th. I will make the motion. We need a second.
Second.
Second from Donna. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We will now open up for one additional public comment period. And we've already gone through reports and our old and new business. And then we'll go to Board of Trustees. Yes.
I was just wondering where we are with the vacancies.
We are still waiting for a couple of properties to respond.
So the survey was distributed by certified mail. We have received results from, I think, one. And questions from others. We'll keep the board informed as to the results of the survey. And
And we're going to start to do more follow-up to get the surveys. So they've had them for probably a couple of weeks. They've been asking questions and then.
So you give them a deadline.
I don't recall the letter.
yeah, I have to go back and check. They did have a deadline.
There was a deadline in the letter, but I don't remember what it was. And then after the if they don't if they don't send it to us, we can't say that we still need to get the surveys. So we have to follow up to get. So the deadline was sort of a get it done, but now we have to do the follow-up. Anything else? Please,
Hi.
just give us your name, please.
Regina Hopkins. Hi, Don. Hi,
How are you, Jan?
I would like to address thanks.
We can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Okay, come closer.
Yeah,
You
you
say
need-
you want to address mice?
No, no, bikes. They don't say it's a single file. They're all rural. It's very dangerous. There's no signage for them. they take over the road.
Bikes.
Yes,
Right.
what is gonna do about that? It's like, they should be single file. No, they go all over the road,
Yeah, we don't have a single file legislation. Orangetown does.
but we're part of us.
Yeah, but we have our own.
So what are you gonna do about it? Because now it's becoming a problem. You're not gonna sit and wait for our town, we're not, what are you gonna do?
We've actually discussed this with the bikers in the past.
Yeah, but they don't, they still all over the road down, all over.
Yeah.
Like ridiculous.
This always comes up during the summer. We would have to pass legislation on. If we were
Okay, so
winters.
how do we do that?
First, the board would have to decide that that's something they want to do.
Okay, is this something you want to look into?
Yeah, we have a couple other people.
We would have to have the other two folks here. We can certainly, I will certainly bring it up with folks. To see if there's any, the single file law is the only really thing that we can do.
Yeah, because it's like totally ridiculous on the weekend. When they ride through, it's like they don't adhere to the rules of the road. And then if
They
you
are
say
supposed to-
something,
They are
they
supposed to
like
adhere.
put you off or whatever.
Yeah.
You know? And also, the pedestrian cross on Main, what happened to the signs?
Where,
The two pedestrian crosses on Main?
that used to have the thing in the
Yes,
middle.
yes, what happened?
Yeah, they've been damaged. They get knocked over by cars.
And
We
they're
now
not-
put them up on the side.
I've seen people move them that have been hanging out. They move them. So I think we should like stationary. Some kind of-
Actually, we looked into that and we really can't put stationary ones in.
But something has to be done now. Because it's getting ridiculous. It's more traffic.
We can certainly make sure that they're out there. Andy, could you have the parking guys do a more regular check on that? That should be
Because-
something that they
Yeah,
should.
those
No,
flexible
because
signs.
I,
can be hit by
because
cars.
like this lady that lives in the senior building. Got it, almost got hit twice.
On Main Street,
Twice, yeah. And it's because they don't pay attention, you know? They don't pay
let us look into what we can do about that. With those signs, I'm not sure are gonna stop very many people.
But it has to be something that can be done. No, that's not feasible. Something has to be done. Because
Let us look and see what options we have. We've done this in the past and it's,
I know, and there's still.
always tough. Other option is speed bumps and that hasn't worked either.
Yeah, but something has to be done. When someone gets killed.
All right, let us look into what options we have.
Okay, and one more thing. Okay, then I want to address was the signs, but the night head start. Slow children. That you promised 2 years ago.
They're up.
No, no slow children. No, they're not.
All
There no slow children. Nope.
right, we'll go look at it. I
Okay.
thought they were up there.
So what are you gonna do?
I'll go over there tomorrow.
Thank
Well, I
you.
can't tomorrow. I'm going on vacation.
Yeah.
I will go over there and we'll look at it.
Right, thank
There's,
you.
there's more signs up there, Regina. You have to admit, there's more signs
I mean.
and more safety issues.
No, I
from
hear,
from
I hear
Head Start
that,
than
but
ever.
they speed through there's kids.
Well, I think the way to stop that though is to have the police there. And we'll request that. The slow signs don't seem to slow anybody down. That's what you say.
It's the end of school year, you know. But you can process for 2 weeks. I mean, they did good with the all crosswalks, but now we need the slow children, because they powder everywhere. Not just young guys, blasting music, anybody.
Yeah, I know, I've seen
You
it.
know, it's too much. Somebody's gonna get hurt, seriously.
We'll see if there's anything more that we.
All right, I'll be back next month.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jack,
Slightly, for those statements, living on, South Broadway, I see a lot of cyclists, especially on the weekend. They do, sometimes they, they'll acknowledge the lights with some of the stop signs on the on Piermont. However, most often they do not. They go, especially if they will not, ride single file, there'd be like 3 of them. Yeah, so I totally agree with that, and it's really a hazard for pedestrians, because, you know, like, you're taking your life in your hands crossing the street. One thing about cars. The other point is, at the garden, I've noticed going down right on the corner there, the cars just speed right down there.
Yeah.
It's amazing, you know, they go through, sometimes they go through the light and then they go home. And then they slow down for the speed bump. Smart ones, the ones that are not so bright, the fellows or ladies or whatever, they'll whiz over the speed bump.
You're talking on Depew, right, Jack?
The queue, exactly. So, I think that there should be, more police enforcement in that area, especially during certain times.
We'll put it on our agenda with the police. I say this often when people bring issues of enforcement up. Call the police and tell them. The more you call, the more when we say it to them, they go, oh, yes, we've heard about it. So we need help from the public when you see things go on. We will bring it up. Go.
Couple of things, thanks for talking about the cyclists in the file rule. One problem is that there's no signage.
We don't have a single file rule.
We don't have a single.
No,
We should have a single
Orangetown
file.
does,
Orangetown does, right?
and we
Piermont
don't.
has, and
Piermont.
they have signage.
Yeah, but we don't have a law. So
I
that's
know,
why we're
I know.
not seeing-
I understand that, but when we do have a law, we should make sure that we have signage to inform cyclists that we do.
I'm sure we will.
At the eventuality that we will have a single file rule.
If we pass a law,
If
I'm
we
sure
pass-
we will put signs up.
Okay, that's number one. Number two is, regarding the parklets, for the restaurants, I'm using the correct terminology, yes? So on Main, some of the parklets are close to the crosswalks. And you could barely back a car into there, so the back of the car was against the parklet. And in the front of the car, sometimes goes over to the parking, the crossing, crosswalk. And this causes actually visibility issues. So that if somebody is going onto the crosswalk and crossing Main, cars coming up Main, they have a hard time seeing a person standing there, especially if they have a truck. Okay, it's almost impossible. Normally, if I'm crossing, I kind of look out first to make sure, but when you have young kids, parents with strollers, it's a problem. So, for instance, there's one park there that's right across from the Burger Club. Right, so that parklet is directly in front of the storefront. And to the, if you're coming up the sidewalk, there's an area that's wasted space. And I'm going past it by the crosswalk, again, that very small area that we can get a car there. So why can't we move that parking a little bit down to give more room to the car, a car that will park? I mean, I don't know how the
Can you specify the parklet you're talking about?
He's talking about the one in front of the burger.
The Burger Club one?
We have actually moved that twice.
Yeah, we set aside enough space for like a 20-foot parking space there.
but there is space before it, coming up Main, that like a.
That's the space that we just, that's the space that we made bigger.
So you don't just realize that actually. On the Prohibition River side. The parklet for Burger Club cannot extend beyond
Beyond there.
the wall of Burger Club.
Okay,
And if it went further east, there would be in front of Prohibition River, which SLA and Prohibition River won't allow. So we're stuck with that as a hard eastern border for the park, and then we go west. What we did was we measured the typical length of a car and made sure it would fit between the end of the parklet and the crosswalk. Not everybody does a great job of parking for sure. But we did preserve, I believe it's 20 feet. I will check it again to make sure. But there was accommodation for one parking space
Okay.
there.
Okay, but just check it to make sure this, I always see cars just jutting.
They do, and that's a ticket.
Yeah.
They should get a ticket, and we've had, actually, I've seen. Summonses on people's cars for parking. Because it doesn't just happen there,
Yeah.
it happens every place.
I know.
They don't, it's not just about the parklet, but we did accommodate the parklet by moving, actually. The SLA rule is it has to be within the footprint of the building. So if we allowed them to be within the footprint of the building, there could not be a parking space there. So we were trying to accommodate a parking space there, so that we were keeping as many parking spaces as we can.
Okay.
It's always balancing acts to try to make these things work, so.
Okay, I'm glad you checked it.
This is something that's been debated since we put the parklets in. The only option we would have would be to not have a parking space there.
The last thing is, and I spoke to Andy about this, there's an issue on the RC parking lot. Fresh Market. That there were ropes that mark off or prevent anybody from stepping onto the new gardens that were established, the nurseries and the new trees. The problem is, and Andy, we talked to Andy about being able to make the road more visible at night. So people who aren't used to it don't walk into that. But there's an additional problem there in that the path from the parking lot to the sidewalk on Main, the one that's closest to the M&T Bank, it's not well lit. The curve is very high, and it's not a straight path, it's a curve, it makes a turn. And is there any way to get better lighting there, and maybe lights on the ground, regarding on the walk lights, something that will signify that there is a path over there? I mean, somebody actually felt on social media, they know.
So we can certainly take a look at that, see if there's anything that we can do. I mean, there's places like that all over the village. We would be putting lights. There's places like that all over the village.
I know. But that's one specific place that I know somebody felt. I mean, maybe there's some, first of all, that curve that's clear, fine.
It is.
Right, the curve.
It's definitely higher than usual. This is because of the grade of the parking lot.
On the flats, I trip over that. So I normally don't use that path, but some people do, and that's kind of a little bit on the dangerous side. And is there some type of reflective strip striping that can be used? Maybe that will help increase visibility.
I'll take a look at that.
Yes, suggestion. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, any comments from the board?
So great weekend, yeah, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Really was great.
That's it.
Perfect weather.
Yes, it didn't rain too hard.
It's always my job is to bring it with. When it's good.
Thank God for you.
Tom?
Mother nature, this mother nature, yes. No, the parade was great.
June 15th, at 7:30, that's next Thursday, we will be having a public meeting on service provision. This is a third meeting on the panhandlers issue. We will be bringing service providers in to talk to us about what they do in the community and how to get a hold of them. So, and that will, we won't be able to, put that out on YouTube, where we have a staffing problem, so we won't be able to YouTube that out. But we will try to record it so that we can make it available to people. So that's, June 15th at 7:30, here in, Village Hall. Make sure that you review Marcy's memo about the grants, because we'll talk about that on the 29th, to make sure we approve going forward with them. And I did have a member of the public come in and talk to me about bed and breakfasts in the village. This was against bed and breakfasts. So what I've asked Andy to do is to work on getting any code that we have relative to that, so that we can look at it as a board to discuss what we want to do.
Oh.
All right, so
We don't have any.
no, we don't have any legal we don't have bed and breakfast, but we do have people doing Airbnbs.
Okay, got it.
So it's really about the Airbnbs process. And then how we enforce what we're currently doing. I think we do need to review what we have in our code about that. And be a little bit more consistent with how we enforce those issues.
So are we talking about short-term rentals or are we talking about a bed and breakfast?
We are talking about short-term rentals.
Okay.
Sorry, yes.
Yeah, I know that issue has been raised, the policy issue, and
Yeah, the bed and breakfast, I think, is pretty nailed in. It's the short-term rentals. Bed and breakfast, you have to have the owner needs to occupy it. These are Airbnbs that are being, and if you go on Verbo or you go on Airbnb, there's probably 20 properties to buy. So we do need to review it. We did start a process of reviewing it, and I can't remember what happened.
I would think that would make a good referral to the land use technical committee.
Well, let's get the information out so that we can. Okay, that's it from the village board updates, so I need a motion to move into executive.
Can I just make a couple of announcements?
Oh, yes, please go right ahead.
One is, I've been approached by Chris Burns, who's kind of the curator, coordinator, promoter of the showing a movie in the Article parking lot events, which have taken place. There was a David Byrne one, I think originally there was Psycho and Wizard of Oz, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, a couple others. About doing that kind of event again sometime this summer. She'll come to a meeting, maybe we'll get her here on the 29th to speak to that. But I just want you to know that the Rivertown Films and their various partners are interested in doing that kind of event again. And so I've started that conversation in terms of, it's a little kind of a technical process to get cars, people in and out of there. So we invested a little bit of time in that planning, but I don't want to push it too far unless the board wants to see those kinds of things continue. So if you have any,
I thought it was great, and then there was never a problem every time it happened. They were awesome.
They're great events, and we've had 3 or 4.
So it's just logistically, you're saying that it takes.
It's just do we want to pursue
Yeah,
it
because
again?
it takes effort, and it's, I agree personally as a village resident that those events have been a positive. Absolutely positive. Now I'm seeing that it is a process. They're village sponsored, which means that the costs are covered by the village, so.
We've always sponsored these events.
Yeah, I'm a proponent of it. I'm happy to work on it. I just want to make sure the board is aware that it's in the works.
Okay, so good.
You've got 3 people that are saying, let's go. I don't imagine the other 2 will be, we can ask them.
That's what I also want to just remind the board of 2 things. One is our Nyack tourism grant is up and running. Visit Nyack has distributed it. It's on the village website. If you know of any groups or individuals who are interested in getting support for a tourism generating event, or anybody watching this YouTube, or whatever, just contact Visit Nyack with the village website. The applications there as a download, and all the guidance for completing it, the deadlines and so on are there. So it's exciting to see that taking off. To that end, at some point, the village board is going to need to appoint more members to the business council so that it can fulfill its role as the reviewer and advisor to the village board on which grants to fund and how much. That needs to happen sometime in the next month or so. I've spoken with trustee Rand about it, who chairs the business council. And so two things need to happen. One is that the business council's kind of charter will need to be revised to include this, which is part of the board's plan. And also members need to be appointed to provide this committee.
Right, their mayoral appointments, the board approves. That's the process, so. Is Joe ready to present something to
Not, I mean, I haven't seen
any
his
response?
proposal yet. I've spoken with him about it. I'm sure I know he's thinking about it and working on it. But I'm just advising you that in the next month or so, I would hope by the 29th or by the first week of July.
He's gonna need to get something out so that we can publish and so that the board.
All right, the time frame on the grants is that they're due by mid-July to visit Nyack. And then within a few weeks after that, we're hoping that that committee will meet and provide recommendations to the village board. Sometime in September, so we can get that committee.
First grants in September.
So we have to do the charter first before appointing, or we can do it at the same time.
We can probably do it at the same time.
Okay.
Well, what we've done is ask them for recommendations for. And if you have any ideas, share them. We want to make sure we have good representation. So if your dad has experience.
Yeah, you already.
I already know.
I found it out.
So lastly, I don't know if anybody's mentioned yet, that the Pride Fair and Parade is coming up this weekend. And all the pieces are in place for an excellent event. So
Yeah, and the other thing that we need to get out there is that the fire memorial parade is also on Sunday morning.
right.
I completely forgot to write that down. So the fire memorial parade starts at 8 o'clock. Goes down down Broadway, up Main Street to the Oak Hill Cemetery, and they have a very nice ceremony up there. It would be really nice if we can get people on the streets to thank the firefighters for what they do. It's usually them walking up the street and with fire trucks lined on the side. It would be nice if we got people out, so we should probably do a little promotion for that. On our website stuff. And maybe Joe, you can get something up on the Facebook page that you administer for the Fireman's Parade, the Memorial Fireman's Memorial Parade. It's 8 o'clock on Saturday,
Sunday.
You left Sunday morning, 8 o'clock. They start at the Park Street.
Does the village have a posting about it? So in that, I can share that to the,
We need to make them up. We'll make them up.
and then send it to me and I'll share.
It would be really good if we got as many people as we can. And maybe Roger, the chamber could put something out on that as
I
well.
was just thinking of that, but we need
Get something.
definitive text with
Yeah. Gotcha.
with no errors.
We'll get that to both of you. The next day or so. No errors.
Try.
Yeah, I don't know that the fire department has offered anything.
They sent us a letter. We could probably, Jim Petrillo would, they'd be fine. I'll call them. I'll call
It's at 8:30 on Saturday?
them. Sunday. This Sunday.
This Sunday.
It's the same day as the promenade.
Yeah.
It's the same day as the promenade, but it happens before we start closing the streets. It's unfortunately a well-kept secret in Ohio. They do it every year.
Bless it.
Okay, executive session. I need a motion in a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dennis is going.
I know, Dennis is ready, I love it.
Wow.